Hey there, community. Welcome to DevCentral Connects. It's been a hot minute, but I am glad that we are here today, and we got a great one. We have in the past had some worldwide technology lab days, and this is another one of those, and I'm excited to have Ted Byerly here with me. I'll bring him on here in a minute. Before I do, I wanted to give a shout out. Jose, great to see you. One of our big fans that shows up a lot. I appreciate you. And I also wanted to talk about App World. If you haven't learned about App World, we had our inaugural App World. Used to be called Agility, but rebranded last year, and we are now on App World. And 2025 is February 25th through the 27th in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Fontainebleau. I'm probably butchering that. That sounds French. Don't speak French, so I'm sure that some of you can correct me on the pronunciation of that. But it's great. We do have our call for presentations open on that already. So make sure I can add that App World. Just hit f5.com/appworld. You can go register, or at least register to be notified of registration, and get out there and we'd love to see you at App World. I will be there unless anything terrible happens between now and then. I'll be there, and so I'm excited. I always love getting the opportunity to get together and be with our customers. And Ted, you are on. I thought I had you backstage, but you're there.
You did. All of a sudden I showed up and was doing other things. I noticed I'm live. Hey, good. So be prepared.
So I don't even get to do your official intro. So this is I'm out of practice. We used to do these on a weekly cadence. So I was on top of all the nerd knobs, but apparently I blew it. So Ted Byerly, welcome. Good to see you today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to see the people out here. I'll be at App World too, by the way.
Oh, you're coming?
Yep.
Awesome. Can't wait. And okay, so what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about how to install BIG-IP Next on or from vSphere. And then we're just going to show you how to import it into Central Manager and kind of how easy that is, right?
It is not super challenging, and I have an article out on DevCentral. I'll link that down in the comments a little bit later. But we're going to walk through it live. Worldwide technology has tremendous lab assets. You register from your work email. You can go out and do F5 things. There's also other companies out there if you so want to enjoy some access to be able to learn. It's a tremendous learning platform. And so I'm grateful for it. I'll go spin some stuff up occasionally to figure some things out. F5 has, we have our own lab platform that we enable as well. But I love what you guys have built in your labs. And so I'm grateful, and I'm excited about doing this today. So there are other BIG-IP Next labs that you have done. One of them is a follow-up to this one, right?
Yeah, so we have several, right? We did Central Manager. I'm focused on Next right now. This one's just installing it from vSphere, VMware. Or the next one will be how to install and set it up and configure it so you can install BIG-IP Next instances from BIG-IP Next Central Manager. And that's out there as well, which we'll talk about a little bit through the show. And then I'm just finishing up a migration assistance assistant lab. A lot of people have questions, right? I have all these applications. I have my old configuration. How do I get visibility, and how do I start planning what's going to happen? And that's a pretty easy lab. You're just using Central Manager for everyone's edification here, and importing a UCS, right? And BIG-IP Migration Assistance will give you hey, this is the status of your applications.
Awesome. Yeah, I have an article on that front as well. I migrated an application just focused on one, and looking at the nuances of what survives and what doesn't, based upon the features that are built into Big IP Next, and the ones that either haven't made it yet or have been not carried forward. And so,
and I think that's important to point out, right, Jason? I mean, for Big F5 and Big IP is just because it's not supported now, it's not the big waterfall type thing. It doesn't mean it's not going to be supported. So you might look at a migration and take the low hanging fruit and migrate what you can. And maybe things aren't ready to be migrated now, but in another version of Next, the features that you're looking for, if you do use all the features, could be there, right?
Yeah.
So it's a continuing migration. And I just say start small and just start.
Yeah. That, for everybody watching, that's my biggest advice now. You don't even really have to migrate applications at all into a production environment, but you should absolutely get Central Manager installed like yesterday and start looking at what migrations look like. So, Central Manager does not need a license. You don't have any overhead. You don't have to talk to F5 at all. Just get it installed and take a UCS from a production system, and then work through some migrations and look at what is a green light, and then start to think about the yellow and red lights that show up, and what is going to need some tweaking to get to Big IP Next today, and what might need to wait until additional features have been built into the product, or what might need to be re-architected. And so that's my biggest advice: is get started today, just with the migration tool, and start to look at what's going to be carried forward and what's not day one.
I was going to start talking about that on the WWT side, right? It's almost like the Nike, just do it, just start. We had at F5, right? Automate one thing. Hey, migrate one out, right? There are big green ones. They're just going to go over easily. Your simple apps. There will be some ones that are going to be configured, and there's ones that cannot go, right? Wildcard VIPs, I believe, VIP targeting VIPs, a couple other ones. So you'll have to plan how you're going to do that, right? But you can just start with the easy ones, maybe the simple, non-used, easy ones, just to get comfortable with doing it. But the big thing is, like you said, just throw on Central Manager. There's labs up here with Central Manager. And then we just I'm trying to waterfall through these labs, like next logical progression.
Right. Yeah. And the other benefit of getting started today is that for your yellows and reds, that's where you engage with your account team to say, hey, I need this. It's not there. They can fill they can file the gaps and attach the accounts to those gaps, so that internally they know what and how to prioritize. Yeah. All right. I think we've said enough about that. We can get on to stuff. Vimal, welcome to the show. Good to see you. And you got a shout out, Ted, from DevCentral. Who's running the DevCentral socials right now?
Hey, I got my DevCentral shirt on, by the way, from DevCentral,
which is fantastic. Thank you for representing. And yeah, so somebody's out there helping me out in the background. Okay, so we're gonna install Next. So should I just go ahead and get this launched?
Just launch the lab.
Okay, overview. I guess we can look at the diagram. I love a good diagram here.
There you
go. Where we got a jump box. And then we got the VMware instance, and then the Central Manager. Okay.
Yep.
So okay. Yep. Pretty simple.
Pretty simple
out of the gate.
Lab, right? Yep.
Okay. Hey, you got a shout out back under there, Sharon. Gave you a nice job in the comments on that lab.
Yeah. So it launches right away, right? We're spinning up the VMware, and just so you know here, we do have some hooks running, so everyone's aware that Central Manager is already going to be up and running, right? So the first one, we installed Central Manager, and we walked through that before. Get it running. Now all these labs, Central Manager is already going to be running, so you don't really have to do anything. And we have Next installed.
Okay. And see up here in the top here, we got a 2-hour lab session, which is plenty, right, for this? So.
Yeah, this could take as little as 20 minutes, right? Going through it. As we talk through it, probably take a little bit longer.
Well, we are known to talk, so it may take slightly north of 20 minutes, but yeah.
So either that start or that lower right button launch, right?
Okay.
Either one
Either one?
works. Yeah, either one works.
Okay.
That launches the infrastructure. And what we have here is just kind of an introduction to what it is, right? If you're not familiar with this platform and currently, you can take the little right arrow. It's a 2-minute video how to navigate. But really right now you're building up the infrastructure, launching the V app that's internal to WWT's ATC. And we have an outside client. I did switch some of these later to not be an outside client. You'll RDP to them in this browser, but right now we're building up a little bit of infrastructure just to get things going.
Okay, yeah, we got about a minute and 20 seconds left for that. I'm just going to come over here to this video.
Yeah, so there's a little video about how the platform works, the navigation of the platform, right?
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So that's that is a video on the platform itself, not on Big IP. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Platform itself, just to kind of give you an overview of the navigation of this one and the installing Central Manager. They're both there.
Yeah, I've used this platform in a couple other environments, and I really like it. It's nice.
Especially for cloud stuff and automation, right? It uses Terraform, deploys a whole infrastructure, however you're going to use it, and however you want to front end it. You can run your whole lab from here, or you could tie it back to ATC, which is here because we have the app templates already ready to spin up for as many people. And even if they wanted to train a whole company, right, we could reserve some instances and get them spun up ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, that's finishing up. We got a question in here. Hi there. Thanks for showing the lab. The question is, will Big IP Next be the future must OS for all users' clients, or will some still be able to use versions like 16.1.x? So to answer your question on the Big IP side, 16.1.x, I think is end of tech support is at mid-year next year, June?
Mid-year next year, 16. You'll have to be at least on 17 to go past mid-year next year.
Yeah, 17. So, and 15 is December, right? 15 as end of tech support in December. So you got a little bit of time. 15 is the end of this year. 16 is the middle of next year. 17.1, the last numbers I saw were like March-ish of 2027 for 17.1. So when end of tech support happens on 17.x, then yes, with support, you'll need to be on Big IP Next. So you have a few years, which sounds like a lot of time, but it really isn't a lot of time unless you have a couple apps. You know, if you're a small shop and you're running a few apps, it's not going to be that big of a road. But if you have thousands of apps that you need to migrate, now time is of the essence. And like even if you have a few, right? Sometimes depending on your SLAs within between all the departments, it takes 9 to 12 months to migrate and move versions and all that. And if you do that times 1,000, if there are 1,000 different business owners, 3 years is not a lot of time.
Yeah, obviously people that have a pair of big IPs, right? A little bit quicker. I'm working with someone right now in Central Manager where we import the UCSs, and there's about 80 of them to import, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to go through all your applications, all your different big IPs and do this. So I would say start now. So you're not under the gun, you're not rushing, you're not missing anything, and you're feeling comfortable with the new UI and how it deployments.
Yeah, you should definitely be in learning and research mode now, if not like active migration. Okay, but thank you for the question. Didn't get a username come through. I know that there's some acceptance and all that, so I don't know who you are, but I appreciate the question. Okay, we're ready to start here, so let's click go. Allow.
It'll pop up just a second here. Just give it a minute. There you go. So you're already in. Oops. You're getting some weird things again. Try to go back up there. I didn't get that yesterday. Some people have reported that. Just up top in your search bar, we're just going to get to Chrome any way you want, or down below. You can click the little pancake stack or whatever you want to call that at the bottom.
I'm looking for right there. Okay.
Yeah. Just to get to Chrome if you want to. Is it not responsive? Let's go.
Activities.
Ooh, that one might be bad. Just see if you can backspace there.
Okay.
And yes, I did run through this yesterday, and I did not see this. Try to refresh that one. There you go. All right, let's see if we can get Chrome up on the desktop. Activities, maybe. Just do it. There you go. There you go. Type search or there, Chrome. There you go. It said to do it a little where I give that a password of Ubuntu. It's a new key ring, a new launch. You're going to get some kind of password. You could leave it blank if you want. Obviously, security, you're not supposed to. So for the lab, just Ubuntu. And there you go. And then you can dismiss all the warnings. And there you go. F5 next is bookmarked. Tried to make it easy for everybody. Unless if you want me to walk you through it, that's fine. If you want to go through, I think last time we
instead
kind of
of
went
me doing the reading, why don't you just
F5
guide
next,
me?
click F5 next there. You get a little two of them. We get using the same template for.
Okay.
Go. There you go. Click one of those. Open that up. That's just privacy error for next, right?
Yep.
Is it not clicking for you?
No. Let's see.
No. Uh-oh. What browser is this? I haven't had browser problems, but I only use, obviously.
It's Chrome in there. Let me see.
It should be. That F5.
Let me try again. Let's I lost the desktop again.
Yeah, just hit activities again. Activities up there to the left. Chrome again. Let's try this. This is one of those nice live presentation.
You get the demo bugs.
Demo bugs. Oh, there you go. This is what happens when you use Mac, Windows, Chrome, Firefox, right?
Yeah, that's not wanting to. Let me refresh one more time.
Well, interesting. All right, let's see why that's happening. Don't do that. I could, let's see. Well, let's see what happens. See if we can work through this real quick.
Okay.
Click on the desktop real quick, just if you can. Control click. Let's see. Nope. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's not responding really.
All right. Well, let's don't do that. Should see if you could hit activities up there in the upper right. If not, we'll kill this and launch another one.
Yep. Nothing. Let's kill it.
All right. Let me go back here. Actually, on my side, manager. Give me 1 second. If you launch it again, it's not going to work.
I will wait. I have patience. I can. I'll come out here and ask.
We can talk.
Let's see.
Deployments.
Kieran asks, will Big IP Next be available for physical and virtual appliances? Yeah. So Hassan answered. Yep, you can put it on R series and Velos on the physical side, and then VE is available as well on the KVM and VMware right now, and of course all the KVM type instances like Proxmox and Nutanix and some other ones. So, and then, I think eventually we'll be in the cloud environments with Big IP Next as well. So, your Amazon and Google and Azure and all those will come. They're not there today, but yes, it'll be both hardware and virtual. And I think you could do today R series 5000 and up for Big IP Next on the hardware side. And then I think the 2000s and all that are coming. So thank you, Hassan, for answering that. For Kieran. And
trying to get this done. So hold on 1 minute.
Not a problem. And I can actually go out while you're looking that up. we can come over here to DevCentral. Wait, am I sharing that one? Let me see. Let me share the one. I'm rusty in where I'm going.
Why don't we do this? No, you were going to. I know you were going to show it from your desktop, but
yeah, you can share. If you share, we can walk through yours too.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to launch it from me.
All right. While you're launching on your end, like say if you're going to start your Big IP Next journey, you just want to start looking at how installs work. We're walking through VMware instances on VMware, vSphere, ESXi. That's what we're doing today in Worldwide Technology here. But I have it on, like if you have Fusion or Workstation on your desktop, you can walk through Central Manager and instance installs on that, as well as instances in the vSphere provider and Central Manager. There's a lab that Ted mentioned there, and so there's next installation guides out here on DevCentral for KVM and VMware, and we will continue to add to this list as I do more and more installation articles. And there is the list for the installation guides. Have you shared? You want to share locally your screen?
Yeah, I'll do that right quick. We have about a minute left, but we can talk through that again. Let's see, share, present, share screen, and let me make sure I get the right one.
I'll pop up that link for everyone to see. If that didn't come to Twitter and LinkedIn, I only show that it posted in LinkedIn. So I'll pop that up for anybody watching the video later that can copy that out of there.
And hopefully everyone can see that screen now.
I can see it, and I'll flip to it. There we go.
Let's see about this. See how the browser works. That's why live stuff's always so fun, right?
I love live because failure is part of the learning process, right? And when you fail, you learn it better. And so I'm always, I don't really get bent out of shape about failures when they happen, because they do happen, and it never bothers me, whether I'm presenting or I'm out in the audience. Of course, I love to see things work great, but I also like to see us work through things. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it does. It's all good.
I like the feedback, right? Other people, sometimes it's not clear. Here, we're back to the screen. Let me see what happens. There we go.
There. And while you're getting started on that, any questions you have, it doesn't have to be directly related to installing instances. Any Big IP Next questions you have, I'll answer them if I know the answer, and I will take them if I don't, and get back to you later. I'll start a thread on DevCentral in the Big IP Next group. If you're not a member of the Big IP Next group, I would recommend you come join us there, and I will make sure. Let me share that link.
Yeah, how's that look? So this is what we're supposed to do, and we were going to talk about here. Click down, right? vCenter, because we're doing next. It says that it's local, accept it, vSphere client. Now we're catching back up. Let's see how this goes. We do have the username and password in here so everyone knows. Made it easy. You can just copy and paste it.
Yeah, real quick before you move on.
I did help somebody that we had some typing issues one time. And I do like too, when people go through these, get feedback. Hey, this wasn't clear. Let's make this more clear. No problem. Again, I know. I also know.
I'm not teaching real quick, Ted.
What's that?
Yeah. Let me ask. Okay, lab is currently unavailable for you. Is this lab valid for all? If you sign up with your work email, you should be able to get a registration through. It might take a little bit of time, right?
Yep.
Okay.
WWT, right? So I did talk about this a little bit a minute ago, right? Here's our labs. We pull this over so people can see it. Big IP Next Central Manager is already running and configured. That was a previous lab that we taught. The next logical step is, hey, how to install it on VMware, right? So we do that, and we got some things there just to get you here. We're not teaching VMware or any of that stuff, right? We're just showing people how it's working and what's set up. Click, 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 next finish. Again, then, gives you some stuff to read if you want, right? What is next? What is, click start. Back to your same desktop. Then it talks about this. And here's a big note where we're going to talk about, like, right, this deployment kind of would be that your big IP administrator, your VMware administrators talk or hear. If you're a big IP guy, do you have access to vSphere or not? And if you did, you could do it this way. There's a follow-on lab after this that will talk about that. Once you can set up some templates in here, you could do the deployments from Central Manager, which we'll touch on, and a follow-on lab's already published, like I said. All right. So we're going to work from here, verify Big IP Central Manager is running, which it is. We're going to edit this instance first when it's in a powered off state. So we're going to go down to the hardware page. We're going to edit settings.
And in this case, where you got to this point is you just deployed the OVF template, right?
I've just imported the OVA, right? So yeah, it's imported and off, just into vSphere. And we do that for a reason, right? Because maybe people don't have the login to F5 to download the OVA, right? They might be here. They might not have a my F5 account where you could download these images. So we go in here. We got some VM options to do. Advanced. We're going to preset this up in VMware. We're going to edit this configuration. We're going to add 2 configuration parameters. It's walk through there, advanced, edit configuration, add configuration parameters twice. And first one's going to be a guest info metadata. And I'll show you what that is here in a minute. Oops.
And while you're looking that up, Camille, you had another comment on, we had another lab not currently available. If you register with your work email, you should be able to get access. It might not be during this live stream, but you should get that.
Trying to get rid of Google. Looks like it crashed, which it didn't do yesterday again. Gremlins are out in force today. This is great. Let's just do that. All right. There we go. Man, this makes you think on your feet here, right?
That's right.
I'm
Gotta keep your place while you come in and out.
Here's a value. And if you do this lab, this value is pretty long. It's base 64 encoding. Just go all the way to the end. And make sure it's noted, but make sure you get the 2 equal signs. There you go. We're going to add another one. And the other one is just your encoding. Guest info metadata encoding. Not even going to copy and paste. Base 64. That's it. Okay. Okay. We're getting ready. So,
and just for my, what were those configuration parameters for? Is that just to
right
set
here?
Up the
we
environment?
gave it a host name, so it's easily identifiable by Central Manager. Give it a host name, the Ethernet port, the address that's going to be of the big IP, the gateway, DNS server name, and the lab. So just some.
Okay, so it's just pre-populating that information for you.
Yep, pre-populate before you do that. And then we're going to power on this big IP. Either way, you power on it, right? There we go. Then we're going to click the web console, and we're going to be able to see the status of this. This is where we're going to do most of our quick configuration. This takes 15-20 as it's building.
While that's building, I'm going to bring up another question. Karen, currently we have a Big IQ Central Manager running. Is it the right time to migrate to Big IP Next Central Manager? Will functionalities and features be similar to Big IQ? So Big IQ and Central Manager are independent efforts. Big IQ is for existing infrastructure for Big IP up through the 17.x. It will manage the existing Big IP Classic resources and not for Big IP Next. Big IP Next Central Manager will only manage Big IP Next infrastructure. So, there's a line in the sand, and Big IQ is for Classic, and Big IP Next Central Manager is for future, and they won't crisscross and manage each other's assets.
There you go. All right, log in, generic admin. Oops, hit enter first. That's my typing skills.
Oh, typing in terminals, emulated terminals, is not for the faint of heart.
So we have a name, the release version. This is 2.10. If I'm not mistaken, 2.3's out now, but this lab was done 3-4 months ago, right? And F5's continue to releasing new versions, and that's what we talked about. Just because Big IP Next, a feature that you need is not available, it can be. Some of the future labs will how to upgrade Central Manager, how to upgrade Next, right? Some of those steps we're going to be working on, but right now it's that. So you get in here, and the first command is going to be setup.
Yeah, 20.2.1 I think is the latest public release.
So a host name. I'm going to just go through all the configurations that I have spelled out over on the right-hand side here instead of copy and pasting. And since we pre-configured it, hey, it already has an IP address on there. You want to keep using it. And for this instance, I'm going to configure a static, right? Yes, I want to configure a static. It's going to release everything. Yes, it's going to get rid of the DHCP. And here's management IP and mask. We did 2.60/24. You got to get that mask in here. And at the end, we could always not accept it if we mess something up. It's going to give us a prompt. Let's see. There you go, gateway.
So I'm a 254 for a gateway is my personal preference too. Is that your personal preference when you're setting stuff up?
Well, yeah, you can see a lot of them were ones, right? I end up switching them around. Sometimes it gets confusing. I guess it just depends what you're comfortable with and what you've always done.
Yeah.
DNS 2.2. Use what's already there. We're not going to do an alternate DNS. NTP right there. We have it internal for all ATC labs, but we don't need an alternate. And then the VLAN, the only thing's different, it prompts you, hey, external, this switches around a little bit. So it's internal. And then you get to take the defaults for the rest. Now, VLAN 2, external, we're going to switch them. Configure static. I'm trying to show the screen so everyone sees it. Just enter. So we're going to take the default no. Please enter new password. There's our new password. You could use anything you want, but since it's ATC. We're going to use our default for all your labs. See if I can type. Passwords do not match. Apparently I cannot type. Let's try that again. I can't type and talk, apparently.
I can't talk, and I can't type, and I got like an older Logitech keyboard that's starting to get some sticky keys, and so that's especially awesome for typing passwords because you can't see what you're typing.
Yeah. So it gives us a quick summary. Make sure you verify that we typed this correctly, because sometimes I don't, and if you'd like to complete it, yes. If not, no, but we're going to do yes because that looks good. Well, I should have talked about it. I didn't. It does show you the VLAN tags. They give you. I just took the default internal, external IP ranges, the defaults from F5. If you have something different, you'd have to change that. And I should have pointed that out there.
Another thing while that's building, you're separating your networks into separate networks in the VMware infrastructure. In the article, I think I show it both ways, where you can just use a single interface after the management network and have all of your traffic interfaces on a single NIC and just do VLAN tagging on all of them. And or you can separate them out all into their own VNICs, and it's all virtual anyway, so I'm not sure it matters.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just tried to represent what people are used to, internal, external. But yeah, you can, right? Especially in VMware, to make it easy, especially if you're just doing this in your dev environment and playing with it. And this does say up to 5 minutes. I never see 5 minutes go by. It's going to complete here in a minute.
Okay, we got a question or a comment. So sad, I need to move to their session. I'll see the entry lab later. Okay, Jose, you may already be gone, but thanks for coming. Always great to see you.
Yeah, let's see if we can. Yeah, there you go. We could see this, right? It defaulted to a 10 network on the internal and a 172 external. If you do this in your production environment, that's where you could change that. I took defaults.
I have some dedicated networks in my own lab here that I always use for. I use this 172.16 CIDR, the 1918 CIDR blocks, RFC 1918. I use the 172.16s in my personal lab.
Getting login token. So it's just about ready here, right? And I do want to call out, if you're doing this lab, this big one, right after this is ready. If you switch back over here in this Chrome, this browser, I've had it become non-responsive. So we're going to exit out of this window as soon as I get the central managers ready.
The all clear. There you go.
There you go. So it's set up, completed successfully. It's ready to log in. Now it's called out in the lab. If you don't, your lab's might become unresponsive. So I make sure we get out of that, right? What's next? Next, we're going to go back and see next. So we're going to go next here. Now you got central manager running, big IP next running. Going to open up a new tab here because now we're going to go to central manager. And now, again, I call it out here and just so we can talk about it, right? You're going to log in again using admin. Some people are going to say, hey, wait, I thought I changed that password. And you did, but it's two different subsystems, right? And we could probably talk about that. You got the API and you got the GUI. So just change it again. We're going to use the same one again.
Yeah, your SSH access to central. Well, I guess your SSH access to central manager, and your GUI access to central manager are different systems. So you can have which is a change, right, from Big IP Classic. Big IP Classic. It was one account at the command line in GUI, and it's separate here. So you can have admin at the CLI and admin at the GUI, and maintain different passwords.
That might be bad. All right, let me try that again. If I couldn't have messed that up on twice on the other one, right?
Never say never.
Yeah, never say never. There we go. There's where I didn't.
You did it.
My typing skills, right? All right, you're changing it. Talks about changing it. Sign in again. Here's what we're looking at here. Manage instances. There's another way to do it if you want. You can click up here, right? You can come back here, manage instances. Either way, it takes us to the same screen, right?
Yep.
And I show them both. You have no instances, right? Where you're in Central Manager. We do have Big IP Next installed and running, but we have to add it to Central Manager. So we're going to just start adding instances. And we're not creating a new. And I saw yesterday when I was going through here, that's not as clear, right? So we're going to connect to an already running instance. Right here it says create new. It's not new. I'm going to have to fix that in GitHub. But we could do it by IP or FQDN, right? And there's two pictures, but that one statement is not correct.
Yeah, the create a new instance. So like in the next lab while you're typing that out, in the next follow-up lab where you're doing it through like a provider, yes. You're using the VMware provider. But if you are doing it in hardware and you're using the R series provider, where you're creating a new instance, you're using a provider, and that Terraform provider will then do the actual creation of the instance on the VMware or on the hardware, and then then it comes to the point that you're doing right now, where you're switching from the creation of an instance to the management of that instance. And so, yeah, where you are here about to click connect is to start the management process of that instance.
Yeah, it's already up and running. I want to start managing it, right? Because all management of Big IP Next, once you have Next installed, you're not going to do anything on Next. You're going to do everything from Central Manager. So we're just going to connect to an already running one, 443, connect. Lots of passwords, lots of typing. All right. So you may need to license it after, right? It's not pre-licensed there. You're going to set up a new management credential password, an admin CM. Defaults to that. You can change if you want.
And while you're typing that in, what I'll say about that is what happens as soon as Central Manager finishes this onboarding process, the admin credential that you set up on the instance directly, that is disabled by Central Manager. And so if you need to connect directly to the instance for troubleshooting or whatever, and you're using the API to set up that sidecar proxy for troubleshooting, to run packet captures or get logs or whatever, this is the credential you use that you're setting up right here, not the one that you set up directly to the instance.
Right. So just same password before, and I already did here, right? Just make it simple. Obviously, you guys would change it. And then you get a few warnings, right? It's going to add instance, allowing it to manage it from Big IP Next. If you continue, you will no longer be able to manage changes directly from the instance. So that's what Jason just talked about. It gives you a key. Hey, if you want to check, you can accept the fingerprint. Yeah.
And that warning, I asked about that warning because I get that through the provider when I was establishing things, get it through the instance. My understanding is that's a trust relationship on the certificates on the VMware server or the vSphere stuff.
Right.
And so that's why those warnings come up. So if you have all of your certificates and all that established in a trust relationship between these systems on your VMware infrastructure, you probably won't get those warnings.
Cool.
But in labs, that's you'll see those in labs.
So it's healthy and imported, already running, right? Standalone. We haven't done HA. We'll do some future labs with HA as well. FQDN, what version you're running, and Big IP Next. So for this lab purposes, just so everyone's aware, that's it. I mean, that's what we want to show. That's how easy. Now, I do walk you through, hey, it can't get the manifest. That's fine. But here's the properties of the name, the description, IP address. If it was an HA, right? I kind of walk you through, hey, take a look at this. You can enable HA if you had them running. You can set up other stuff, certificates, proxy, log management. Here's a log consumer you can create. So this is where once you get your Big IP running, you would start your management Big IP. And then you got your metrics. If it was processing traffic, you can get your QK views, log debug, and license. What's changed about license, you can activate it or deactivate it, but now this is all JOT tokens, right?
Yep.
You can do this. We can talk about, hey, you need a JOT token. Again, and the reason we haven't licensed this, people might not have access to my F5 and do that. But if you were, it's as simple as doing here, new or existing. If you had an existing, future labs I've already built now have an existing token in the system. So you just do existing and it'd come in there. But if it's new your first time, you're going to have a token, you're going to paste it here, and then you can name it.
Yeah, and on the licensing part for everybody who has not really dug into Big IP Next yet, if you go out to my.f5.com, you can establish a trial license for Big IP Next, and then you would be able to license your instance here. And different from Classic, where you'll get like maybe a 30-day trial license and then it's gone, or you get a 45-day eval license from your account managers, and then it's expired and you need to go out and talk to people again. With the trial license, when your instance license expires, if you deploy a new instance and then relicense it with your token, it'll work. It'll be fine. And so it is a trial, and I forget exactly how many re-ups that you get for the trial license, but it's a lot. So you have plenty of time to work in a trial environment without much engagement with F5 people at all. So, but you do have to nuke pave your instances when they expire, and then deploy new. But yeah, licensing just works. The other thing, if you go to that HA tab.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. I'm getting all kinds of stuff going on there. Hold on. Phantom clicks. Let's see what's going on. I don't know how that happened. I didn't think I did anything. Let's just refresh that.
Holy guacamole.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So we go into the instance and then go to the HA tab. Beautiful in Big IP Next is an HA system for active standby in Big IP Next is it's considered one unit. Central Manager treats it as one completely, and so there's nothing that's active on that other instance that you can like monitors or whatever. All that is from a Central Manager perspective, it's considered one, which means you don't have to have two licensed systems. You're only applying one license to your HA pair. In fact, it won't work to pair them if they both have an active license. So when you're getting your instances set up, you license one of them, the other one's not licensed, then you can pair them. And so that's new from Classic to do that. And there is no DSC HA system in Big IP Next today. It is really just active standby.
Cool. Yeah. So that, let's see, I launched my lab 20 minutes ago or so, maybe 30. So like we talked about, pretty quick to get running, right? Central Manager was pretty quick to running. Now Next is here and ready to go. If you had a UCS, and we throw a license on here, which we do in a future lab, we would see your migration assistant. But I do want to touch on one thing. So we talked about, this is somebody, admin, having access to vSphere, right? If you didn't have vSphere, access and you were a big IP admin that had access to Central Manager and you wanted to deploy, that's the follow-on lab that Jason and I keep talking about with a provider through Central Manager. A couple steps in here, you have a library, you have to import the OVA as the library, you have to set up a template, right? You set up a big IP next instance that's just basically off. And then from Central Manager, you would set up a provider, right? And you would start adding the provider and what you would connect as he spoke about. This one's VMware vSphere, right? There's Velos and R series. You'd hook that up. So you give the host name, address, and you start connecting. And then what you would do is from here, you could deploy all your big IP Next instances. So if you have teams that are different from your vSphere VMware environment and big IP, it would take an initial configuration in vSphere, walk them through it, but all future deployments of big IP Next could be done from Central Manager, which really makes it easy for the guys that just manage big IPs.
Yeah. And, that's, you're showing the GUI version of that. But, the real power there is where you start up your, your GitHub Actions or GitLab, whatever. You have your tool chains that just start creating instances via the API through Central Manager. And so a lot of automation power that is there for the big IP Next infrastructure.
And I'm glad you said that. So yeah, all my initial labs, all these initial labs that we're showing that I've produced 3, now coming up on 4, are all GUI based, right? But we are, as part of a learning series, learning track type thing, going to have all these labs, but from an automation standpoint, using basically GitHub.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it of the lab. Hopefully there's some questions, or we can continue talking about it, but I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, I pulled you off already, so you're
Okay,
good.
Good.
And yeah, so I think we're done. We're caught up on all the questions. And so if nobody else has anything, we can wrap a little bit early. But Ted, always great to chat with you, and thank you and Worldwide Technology for the lab infrastructure that you make available for people to come learn. That's awesome. And for you specifically making the time to come share the labs you're building with the DevCentral community. So always excited about that. And if I don't see you before App World, I'm sure maybe we can do another one of these once you get your first automation one out. Maybe we'll have you back and we'll walk through an automation lab.
Awesome, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thanks for the time and the invite. And
all right, appreciate
it. That joined.
Yeah, thank you. You have a great day, and I'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay, well, that wraps the show. And before we get out of here, I just want to again mention the App World 2025, where you'll be able to do labs like this. You'll be working on labs like this in the F5 UDF lab environment. But we'll have big IP labs, we'll have distributed cloud labs, we'll have Nginx, and so there's going to be all kinds of great stuff to come and touch and break and learn new things, as well as come hang out with us. We would love to see you at App World in Vegas, February 25th through the 27th. So go make sure that you get your save the date. If you want to present, make sure you go out and look at the call for presentations, and hope to see you there, and I hope to see you present there. So with that, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon, hopefully. Take care, everyone.
Well, thanks for checking out that video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. You might want to check out one of these videos over here. And if you haven't already, go check out community.f5.com. This is where all the DevCentral Connects hosts hang out, as well as the rest of the community. It's free to sign up, and we'll see you there.